Hi everybody, Miss Tala here again with another folk tale from around the world. Today we're going to read a folk tale from Jordan, which is in the Middle East, and we live here in the United States in New York State. We'd have to travel all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to Europe, to across the Mediterranean Sea to this country marked by the purple thumbtack. That's Jordan. It's called The Ghoul, and it's by Tagreed Najjar, illustrated by Hassan Manasrah, and translated from Arabic by Michelle Mushabek. Let's get started. A long time ago in a beautiful, quiet village on the slopes of the Mountain of Mountains, there lived a boy named Hassan. He was strong, adventurous, and courageous. The people of the village nicknamed him Hassan the Brave. But there was one thing that disturbed the peace in this quiet village. That's something that made the villagers live in constant fear. It was a scary, ugly ghoul that lived in a cave at the top of the mountain. The people of the village would tiptoe to their fields, always carefully looking around them. They would whisper to each other, "Good morning, neighbor. How are you? How are the children? Inshallah, everything is good." And whenever the children made the slightest noise while playing, their parents would say to them, "Shh, lower your voices so that you do not disturb the ghoul." And whenever the children laughed loudly, the old folk in the village would say to them, "Shh, do not laugh, smile only so that you do not disturb the ghoul." One day, during the olive harvest, Hassan asked his aunt, "Why is it that all the people in the village are afraid of the ghoul?" She answered in a terrified voice, "The ghoul is a huge animal. His body is covered with thick hair. He has one big eye in the middle of his forehead, and he has long claws and sharp teeth. His favorite food is little boys and girls." But Hassan was not satisfied with this answer, and when he got back home, he asked his father, "Baba, did the ghoul ever hurt anyone in the village?" And his father scratched his head and said, "No, I've never heard of anyone being hurt by the ghoul, but I do know that he is scary and dangerous. So God help anyone who becomes his prey." And then Hassan asked his mother, "Mama, did the ghoul ever eat any boys and girls from the village?" And she answered, "No, the ghoul did not eat any children from this village, but I heard that he is fierce. He has a voice as deep and as frightening as a wolf's, and he's as strong as a lion. Swear to me that you'll be careful not to disturb this ghoul." Hassan was tired of being scared all the time, and he said, "I'm tired of tiptoeing around the village and of all the shushing up. I want to jump and shout and scream and laugh and climb the mountain too. Tomorrow, bright and early, I will start my journey up the mountain. After all, I am Hassan the Brave, and I will not let anyone stop me." Hassan cried and pleaded with him, "Please, Hassan, I beg you, my son, do not go. I'm afraid that the ghoul will eat you." And Hassan's father pleaded with him too and asked him not to go, but Hassan had made up his mind. The news spread among the villagers like wildfire. It's unbelievable. A brave child is going to confront the ghoul all on his own. The people of the village were divided between those who were in favor of Hassan's journey and those who were against it. Some said, "What a brave child this Hassan is," and the others lamented, "Oh, poor boy, too bad he will be eaten by the ghoul." Early in the next morning, carrying with him some food for the journey and his slingshot, Hassan headed for the mountain. He felt a little scared, but he did not want to show it, so he started chanting at the top of his voice, "I am Hassan the Brave, Hassan the Fearless. I will be afraid of the ghoul. I won't be afraid of the ghoul. Never, never, never." Finally, Hassan arrived at the top of the mountain. He looked around carefully, but he found nothing that scared him. What a spectacular view from the top of the mountain, and all the houses in the village looked so small. Hassan raised up both his arms and he shouted as loud as he could, "I am Hassan the Brave, Hassan the Fearless. I won't be afraid of the ghoul. Never, never, never." Suddenly, Hassan heard a sound coming from behind him, a sound of giant footsteps, and he quickly turned around and he found himself face to face with the ghoul. The ghoul looked exactly the way the people of the village had described him. He was scary, with thick hair, long claws, one eye in the middle of his forehead, and Hassan froze in fear. He wished he had listened to everyone's warnings and never left the village. The ghoul came closer and closer to Hassan and crept slowly around him in a circle. And then the ghoul ran away just as fast as he could let his legs let him go. Hassan took a deep breath. He could not believe that this huge ghoul was afraid of him. The same ghoul who had caused so much fear in the people of his village. Hassan followed the ghoul to his cave and started calling, "Ghoul! Ghoul! Where are you?" And the ghoul shouted back as he trembled in his cage, "Go away from here, young boy. I do not cause you any harm." Hassan replied, "But you are the ghoul, and everyone is scared of you." And the ghoul scratched his head and he said, "That is really strange, because that people are afraid of me because I am afraid of them." Hassan laughed hard and said, "Why are you afraid of people? You are the ghoul." And the ghoul relaxed a bit and answered, "Well, the people look really scary. They have 2 eyes instead of 1. Well, they do not have thick hair like mine, but they have strange voices, and their teeth are little, not like mine. But most important of all, they eat ghouls." Hassan smiled and said, "That's impossible. We don't eat ghouls. It is the ghouls that eat people." And the ghoul shook his head and said, "But ghouls are vegetarians." Hassan, by now totally relaxed, told the ghoul, "The people of my village are going to be very happy when I tell them this." And the ghoul took a long, hard look at Hassan and said, "It is true that you look strange and different, but you are nice." They both laughed and they went off to play together. And from that day on, the ghoul became Hassan's best friend and was loved by the people of the village. The story of Hassan and the ghoul was passed down through generations and reminded the villagers to celebrate their differences and never let fear rule them again. And that is the end of our story this week. Until next week, happy reading! Hi, we hope you enjoyed listening to the book, The Ghoul. We would like to thank Interlink Publishing and Crocodile Books for giving us permission to read it to you. Have a great day.